So, have you ever wondered who was the best quarterback in Pittsburgh history? That wasn't named Terry Bradshaw or Big Ben Roethlisberger. Have you ever wondered who was the best quarterback? I'm not gonna go back past 1977 because I wasn't born, so I don't know who was quarterbacking back then. I don't go back that far because I wasn't alive for it. I've always been a Steelers fan, but I was just wondering who were the quarterbacks. So after Terry Bradshaw and in between Big Ben, and I know I probably really started following football deeply in the 80s. Outside of being a fanboy of my uncles who played college football at Clemson, I really started being a fanboy of the Steelers probably in the mid-80s. When Bubby Brister was the quarterback. But before you get to Bubby Brister, you had Cliff Stout, who was the father of Cold Stout, who played at Clemson. You have Mark Malone, who everybody pretty much know because he does a TV show. You have Bubby Brister from 1988, 1989, 1990. You had Neil O'Donnell from 91 to about 95. Mike Tomczak, Cordell Stewart, of course, Touchdown Tommy. You had those guys. Interesting, I didn't know this about Cliff Stout. Cliff Stout was 10-6. He was a 5th round pick out of Utah State. Then it went to Mark Malone. Stout actually made the playoffs in '83. He started 15 games that year. Bradshaw started 1, something with his elbow. Mark Malone, he had 10,000 yards plus with his career. He had 60 touchdowns, 81 interceptions. Pretty much he got the Steelers to the 1984 AFC Championship game, and they lost to the Miami Dolphins. He threw for like 350 yards and 3 touchdowns and 3 INTs. Then you have Bubby Brister, of course. That's somebody I remember vividly that beat the Houston Oilers in the AFC Championship game in 1988. He had a record for a while for throwing 178 passes consecutively without an INT. One of his big things was Houston Oilers were blowing him out one year, and he told Neil O'Donnell he don't wipe up for nobody after the game. I guess Houston Oilers were blowing him out that bad. Of course, you had Neil O'Donnell. You know anything about Neil O'Donnell? He had the lowest throwing. He had a record in the NFL for throwing the most passes without throwing the INT. The lowest INT, touchdown to INT ratio. Lowest INTs by a quarterback. Neil O'Donnell is one of those quarterbacks that pretty much was the game manager. Handing the ball off. Let the running back run the ball. He had Barry Foster back there. Had a good defense at that time. Greg Lloyd and, you know, Rob Woodson, Kevin Green, Kirtland, Chad Brown, Cornell Lake, Perry was back there. Chester McLaughlin, I think, was there at defensive tackle. Just some great defenses that he had. He made the Pro Bowl, when was it? 1992, I believe. He made the Pro Bowl. If you ever go look at his numbers compared to Troy Aikman, I know Troy Aikman got the trophies, but his numbers to Troy Aikman ain't no different. I know Neil O'Donnell never made the Hall of Fame, and a lot of people still mad at Neil O'Donnell because he threw those 2 INTs to Larry Brown when nobody else was around. So that's what Neil O'Donnell was known for mainly, but he was a real good quarterback. He went to the Jets after that. Matter of fact, I think he played up to 2003. I think he was on the Titans for a long time. Let's see, who else did I take some notes on? Then you had Jim Miller and Mike Tomczak, about 95, 96. Jim Miller. I think he was a 6th-round pick out of Michigan State. Of course, you had Cordell Stewart. Cordell Stewart / he had some great years. I think he was 11-5. The next year, after that, 98, Chan Gailey had left on to be a head coach, and he went to coach the Cowboys. And then you had Yancey Thigpen. He left and went to sign with the Titans. So he didn't have a good year the next year. And he had lost like 5 offensive starters. Then in 2001, you had, he had a pretty good year. He threw for 13, he went 13-3. He had an 81% passing ratio, 14. You know, ran a lot. I think he had like 13 touchdowns with his Steelers career on rushing the ball. Then you had touchdown Tommy Maddox. You know, Tommy Maddox was pretty much a bust at Denver, traveled around a little bit. Then he went to the Giants, went to the SFL. He won comeback quarterback over the year. In 2002, 2003, 2004, struggled. Then we got Big Ben. Touchdown Tommy, he just came in blowing up stuff. And he looked pretty good. Cordell did too, but Touchdown Tommy was the last quarterback for Big Ben. Cordell played today, and if people would have let him use his talent, use that offense back then, Cordell probably would have had a better career. And he really didn't have a bad career. He just made a lot of poor decisions. Like I said, it was 11-5. I think we had Denver at home. And then we lost to the New England Patriots that won the championship that year. I mean, I don't think Cordell was that bad like people like to make it seem to be. But all right now.